Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, an insight. Episode 175. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, we closed the previous episode listening to the marvelous miracle of Sri Sai Maharaj by appearing in the dream of Kushal Chand and calling him to come for darshan, while at the same time at Shirdi he sent Dikshit to fetch him in his tonga. There was a close bondage between Sri Sai Maharaj and Kushal Chand. Kushal Chand is the son of Ramachandra Sant. They belong to Marwari community, migrated from Rajasthan, got settled in Rehata, which was 5 kilometers away from Shirdi, and carried on their family business. They were affluent and were known as Zamindars. Ramachandra Sant had 2 younger brothers, namely Chandraban Sant and Brij Chand Sant. Ramachandra Sant's son is Kushal Chand. Sri Sai Maharaj had great affection for Chandraban Sant. In the initial years, Sri Sai Baba spent some time in Rehata before he came to Shirdi. Then again, for the second time, Sri Sai Baba came to Rehata along with the pseudo-guru Jawahar Ali, and this is mentioned in Sri Sai SATCHARITRA. As mentioned, when Sri Sai Maharaj stayed in Rehata in the initial years, he was fond of Chandraban Seth. Chandraban didn't have progeny. That is, every time his wife conceived, the baby got aborted. He was very upset but never raised this as a concern to Sri Sai Maharaj. Chandraban Seth's brother is Ramachandra Sant and his son was Kushal Chand. There was not much difference in age between Chandraban Seth and Kushal Chand, though they are uncle and nephew. They both were almost of the same age. So, even when Chandraban Seth didn't beseech Sri Sai Maharaj for progeny, Kushal Chand spoke to Sri Sai Baba on behalf of his uncle thus: "My uncle is not having a progeny, as every time his wife conceives, the fetus is getting aborted. So, Baba, please shower your grace for him to have a child." Upon his plea, the merciful Sri Sai Maharaj blessed Chandraban Seth with a child and was named as Amolak Chand. When this child was 8 years old, that is, on 13/12/1911, Chandraban Seth passed away and was 68 years old, which means he gave birth to a child at his 60th age. Such was the prowess of Sri Sai Maharaj. He could grant progeny to a person who was 60 years old. Isn't this unfathomable? Sri Sai Baba's grace is ample to get anything that one requires. His decree is so powerful that nothing will fail. Whatever Sri Sai Baba pronounced, that transpired. The saint's sankalpam will always happen. Our desires are mere thoughts, but the thought of a saint turns into a sankalpam. As a testament to this fact, Chandraban Seth was blessed with a child at the age of 60. This is absolutely an incredible blessing of Sri Sai Maharaj upon this family. After the demise of Chandraban Seth, the association between Kushal Chand and Sri Sai Maharaj became closer. They both would meet once in every 15 days. On 15/10/1918, Sri Sai Baba attained Mahasamadhi. Kushal Chand was greatly distressed. He couldn't bear the loss of separation from Sri Sai Baba. He was missing the physical presence of Sri Sai Maharaj and kept on murmuring, "My Gurunadhar has gone. My Guru is not there." His heart and soul was soaked in the love of Sri Sai Maharaj. He couldn't tolerate the pain of departure of Sri Sai Baba. He was unable to bear it. As per their routine, every 15th day they met, but now, after the Mahasamadhi of Sri Sai Maharaj, that will not happen. The mere thought that he cannot meet Sri Sai Baba itself was unbearable for him, and within the next 15 days, that is on 5th November 1918, Kushal Chand passed away. So, after 15/10/1918, Kushal Chand lived just for 215 days, which means he missed just 2 meetings with Sri Sai Maharaj, and on the day of Deepavali, he reached the holy feet of Sri Sai Baba. It was so terrible for him to stay in this world without his Guru. So he left his body and went to his Guru's abode to meet him. All this happened within a month's time. How can one describe the bondage and the loving devotion that he had for Sri Sai Maharaj? Devotees, Sri Sai Baba is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Whenever the Lord incarnates in human form, the demigods would also take a form and come to earth along with the Supreme Lord. As soon as the purpose of incarnation is attained, the Supreme Lord will leave the earth and return to his abode. When this happens, the demigods would not be willing to stay back on earth for a long time. They would also leave as early as they can to serve the Supreme Lord. In this case, Sri Sai Maharaj is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and within 13 days of him leaving his mortal coil, Nanavali passed away. It is believed that the demigods need not come in human form, but they take the desired form and come to earth. For instance, exactly 1 month prior to Sri Sai Baba's Mahasamadhi, a tiger passed away in the presence of Sri Sai Baba. 1 month after Sri Sai Baba left his mortal coil, Kushal Chand died. In 4 months' time, another ardent devotee by name Muktaram passed away. These souls are considered as Parivara Devatas, and Sri Sai Maharaj is the Supreme God. To exhibit this truth, they all left their body and attained the holy abode of Sri Sai Maharaj either prior or immediately after Sri Sai Baba attained Mahasamadhi. One of the remarkable attributes of saints is they love their devotees to the core and always desire to meet them. Let me portray a Leela from the life history of Sri Gajanan Maharaj in this connection. We just heard that Sri Sai Maharaj sent Kaka Sahib Dikshit to bring Kushal Chand as he was yearning to meet him. and the Leela that we are going to heed now is just parallel to the longing Sri Sai had in meeting Kushal Chand. Once, Sri Gajanan Maharaj made a visit to Akola. Babu Rao was one of his fervent devotee, and whenever Sri Gajanan Maharaj visited Akola, he would stay in Babu Rao's home. One of his friends by named Medab Shah was residing in a village known as Kurum at Mutizapur that was little far from Akola. He was a Muslim saint earnest in having darshan of Sri Gajanan Maharaj. Medab Shah thought even if we cannot go to Shegon to visit Sri Gajanan Maharaj, he should at least go to Akola to Babu Rao's home and have darshan of Sri Gajanan Maharaj. So he conveyed his heart's desire to Babu Rao and said, "Please intimate me whenever Sri Gajanan Maharaj visits your home, as I would like to have his darshan." Now, Sri Gajanan Maharaj arrived at Akola and Babu Rao was very busy making preparations for the puja rituals, prasadam and lodging arrangements for the innumerable devotees that would come to have darshan of Sri Gajanan Maharaj. In the midst of all these work, he could not personally go to inform Medab Shah about Sri Gajanan Maharaj's arrival at Akola. So he decided to send one of his acquaintances to the village Kurum at Murchisapur and inform Medab the news. That person started from Akola and reached Murchisapur. Meanwhile, Sri Gajanan Maharaj intuited about his presence at Akola to Medab Shah. Hence, he already started from Kurum and reached Murtizapur. At this juncture, miraculously, both Medab Shah and the messenger sent by Babu Rao met each other. They both had never seen before, but Medab Shah, being a saint, identified this person to be a messenger of Babu Rao and on his own enquired if he was heading to Kurum to meet Medab Shah. The other person was astonished to hear this statement from a stranger and answered in affirmative. Then Medab Shah continued, "You need not go to Kurum, as I am that Medab Shah, and I was already intuited by Sri Gajanan Maharaj about his arrival to Akola. So I am now travelling over there to have his darshan." Baba Rao's friend was spellbound listening to all this. Thus, devotees, from the above Leela, we can conclude that if the saints have desired to meet their devotees, then they will draw the plans very skillfully and make it happen in a very subtle way that is incomprehensible for human mind. In Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, Hemat Panji is now continuing to narrate about a devotee by named Ramlal. This devotee was also drawn to Shirdi through dream vision by Sri Sai Baba. Hence, it is more appropriate to include this Leela here. He is known as Punjabi Ramlal. He is a Brahmin from Punjab but was residing in Mumbai. One day, Sri Sai Baba appeared in his dream and professed thus, "Ramlal, you come for my darshan." He has never seen Sri Sainath Maharaj before. Hence, he didn't even know that the one appeared in his dream was Sri Sai Baba. All that he realized was a saint wearing kafni, had a headgear, came in his dream vision and called him for his darshan. Ramlal woke up from his dream and was contemplating about his dream and the saint that appeared in his vision. Ramlal always had loving devotion towards God. Sri Sai Maharaj himself had appeared in the dream and called Ramlal for his darshan. Then devotees can imagine how blessed he must be. Ramlal was in a fix. The saint that appeared looks like a Muslim. Now, how to know his whereabouts and details to go for his darshan? That same day, while he was walking in the market street in a shop, he found a photo frame of Sri Sai Baba. He was awestruck as the image in the photo frame exactly resembled the one that appeared in his dream vision. Ramlal was astonished, so he quickly approached the shopkeeper and inquired about the picture in the photo frame. The shopkeeper said the one in the picture is Sai Baba and lives in Shirdi. Immediately, Ramlal came to Shirdi, had the darshan of Sri Sai Baba and stayed there until Sri Sai Maharaj's Mahasamadhi. Such was the magnetic pull of Sri Sai Baba. Ramlal became a fervent devotee and had intense love for Sri Sai Maharaj. Hemat Panji says, it is widely believed that the scenes we witness during our waking state becomes a source for the vision we have in our dream. For instance, if we happen to see a place in our dream, either we should have already been to that place or had recently discussed about it. But contrary to the fact, Ramlal had a vision of Sri Sai Maharaj whom he had never met or heard about. This clarifies that the vision is purely a blessing of Sri Sai Baba upon Ramlal, records Hemat Panji in one of the OVs of this chapter in Sri Sai SATCHARITRA. Ramlal was immensely happy to have the darshan of Sri Sai Baba and turned to be an ardent devotee. Seems like the saints have a fascination to draw their devotees towards them by appearing in their dream vision. To quote, Sri Pundi Mahan and Swami Samarthar had also drawn many of their devotees through dreams. Punjabi Ramlal had a dream vision, then happened to see the same form in picture, collected the details and finally got the darshan in person. In contrary, Swami Samarthar gave his darshan to a person, then he made the devotee to see his photo. Upon enquiry, the person came to understand that it was Swami Samarthar. This technique of Swami Samarthar was exactly in contradiction to the process applied by Sri Sai Baba to Punjabi Ramlal. Let's listen to that interesting Leela which is narrated in the life history of Swami Samarthar now. There was a devotee by name Sri Baba Jadev. He prayed to Swami Samarthar, but strangely he has never seen the picture or had the darshan of Swami Samarthar. Sri Baba Jadev was a devotee of Lord Dattatreya, and Kanagapur is one of the famous abodes of Lord Dattatreya. At the holy confluence of the rivers Bhima and Amaraja, Lord Dattatreya is known to have attained realization and called as Sangama Snan. It is believed that every day at 12 noon, Lord Dattatreya would go through the village asking for alms of food. Once at this holy abode, when Sri Baba Jadev was meditating upon Lord Dattatreya, suddenly he heard someone say, "Go to the temple and receive the prasadam immediately." Sri Baba Jadev opened his eyes, and to his astonishment there appeared a saint wearing just a kaupin or langot, and his face was filled with effulgence. As directed by the saint, he went straight into the temple, received the prasadam, and turned around to look for the saint. Lo, the saint disappeared, but there he saw a photograph, and that was the image of the Swami Samarthar of Akkalkot. He was stunned looking at the picture and realized that it was this same saint that appeared few minutes ago in person and now giving his darshan in this photo. So he quickly inquired the devotees in the temple whose picture that was, and he was told that it was Swami Akkalkot Maharaj, Supreme Master, and was also known as Swami Samarthar, an incarnation of Lord Dattatreya. He was in horripilation. He submitted his humble pranams in mind to Swami Samarthar and became an ardent devotee. Devotees, isn't this amazing? Ramanathan brother is also sharing a Leela from the devotees' experiences of Sri Pundi Mahan, which is connected to the same topic. In the district of Tanjore, at a place known as Devangudi, there lived a person by named Santana Krishnan, to whom Sri Pundi Swamiji appeared in the dream in a gigantic form with a long beard. He didn't know anything about the saint and was contemplating on it after he woke up from the sleep. At that juncture, he came to know about Sri Pundi Mahan and went for his darshan. When he went and saw the Mahan, he was stunned because that was the same saint who appeared in his dream. He was in tears of gratitude for the compassion of Sri Pundi Mahan in blessing him by appearing in his dream vision, and he turned to be an ardent devotee of the Mahan. Let us listen to another divine sport of Sri Pundi Mahan. There was a retired judge by named Kalidas. In the year prior to 1971, Sri Pundi Mahan appeared in his dream and pronounced the words Shuddha Shivam Sudum Neruppu. Then, during the year 1971, the judge heard about Sri Pundi Mahan and decided to have his darshan. When he went there, to his utter amazement, the same saint that appeared in his dream and spoke the words Shuddha Shivam Sudum Neruppu was seated in flesh and blood. From then, the retired judge became the fervent devotee of Sri Pundi Mahan. These are beautiful garlands of miracles that reveal the compassion of the various gurus upon their devotees and their yearning to draw the devotees towards them to shower their grace and speed up their spiritual progress. The ways of the gurus to accomplish this task is incredible and unfathomable. At times, their actions seem to be so similar, otherwise, it is very distinctive. One of the OVs narrated by Hemat Panji in this chapter of Sri Sai SATCHARITRA is exceptional and carries a subtle meaning. We shall heed to this and other interesting Leelas connected to this OV in the coming episode. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.